welcome all brothers and sisters who are on the platform. Thank you for being here. Hopefully, we will all benefit from the talk. I just to introduce, I have three young people around me who are visiting from New York. They were listening to the lecture as well. This is Dr. Jaz. Thank you. Please, let's go to Q&A. And Abdul Khalik is here as well. He's not working today. Very good talk. Thank you.
Oh, good to see you, Khalik.
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
I'm fine. Did you take your dad to Texas?
Yeah, no, not yet. We will get there sometime.
Okay. Now, for the benefit of everyone, Abdul Khalik is a pilot with British Airways.
Thank you. Thank you. Ji, please, let's go to Q&A. And as normal, young people, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask any question. It's a good opportunity. I have a question on. Sure. Yeah, you can raise hands and we could ask. This was the third part of the talk on Riba, usury, and
we can ask questions because it was not specifically with Riba as such, because the first two presentations were on Riba, whereas this presentation covered wider aspects as well of Tolu Islam as well.
Right, we'll go to Wasim Bhai. Welcome, Wasim Bhai. Go ahead.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's all good.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Saab. It was a very, very comprehensive and in the way touching nearly everything. I'm actually have more questions than from this presentation. But I'm not going to ask any question regarding only one or two, maybe, which might help us to for the other members to start this discussion. You have covered quite a lot, and especially with the previous on Riba. But this presentation not only covers that aspect of Riba, but it's basically about the human being and the deen, and also going into further up that how does the human being, if in a system of deen, how we can actually develop. The things which comes to my mind, I quite recently was speaking to somebody, and when you introduce them to permanent values, they just say, oh, it's a common sense. It's a common sense thing. So if it is a common sense thing, that is the same sort of argument that a person says, oh, I'm intelligent enough and I know better than anybody else. So why I need a Wahi or a Quran or something else? But the question comes then, if it is without that hidayat, can human being develop some sort of system without Quran or the Wahi? Now that comes to Riba is actually not Allah has made it, but it's a man-made thing. And that's the man-made system. How we come out of it, if eventually we have to go develop the system of deen through the man-made system. So that could be one slight question which might require to think over it. Other aspect which I will...
Sorry, Wasim, could you repeat the last line?
Yes. See that... see, I'm getting old, so I'm really getting old. See
Sorry
that
for that.
no, my
It's
thinking
okay.
was on.
You go to the next point, and I'm sure we'll pick it up.
Yeah. The second aspect is see from as a life from instincts to intelligent, wherein under the intelligence we have the choice, and that's only the human being have certain sort of choice. And within that, with the intelligence, we try to actually direct our purpose of life going toward a certain thing which we feel is good. Now, and nowadays is another aspect which is from intelligence to artificial intelligence is coming. Now, how in artificial intelligence it can comment on riba or this sort of permanent values which Quran is actually defying or saying what is right and what is wrong. That is actually the ethical system the Quran is talking about. Without that ethical system and within the ethics that belief which is life after death, it cannot be completed. And once you come into, you cannot, in my opinion, or rather I think whatsoever I have learned, that without this belief of life after death, you cannot actually move forward in the purpose of life, to understand the purpose of life. You might get something, but it won't fit in the Quranic whole scenario. So these, looking into once again into these things, how can the human being which use either the common sense, the ethical value of whatsoever human being have created, they are bound to come up with some problems, but they cannot come out of it. It's not a direct question, but it's a sort of discussion platform that we can discuss on this, the ethical value coming out from your this whole presentation. That sort of things are coming to my mind. And that's all. I don't want to go again and
No,
again.
that is fine. That is actually very good that we can at least start discussing what
Yeah.
we have shared. And this is a big challenge for me as well. And I have discussed it with you many times. That some of the things which are very obvious and very clear to us as students of the Quran are not so obvious to others. And one of the things with which I struggle, that in this life, we see all kinds of problems created by the man-made system. And the glaring ones are these wars which are going on in different parts of the world. Or for that matter, even in the Western hemisphere, which some of us live, if we go to the town and we see homeless people sitting there with a small empty glass in front and asking for some change, we see them as just individuals sitting there and not go into the background of it, that why are they in that condition in the first place. For example, some of these men, some women are there as well. They were all born like a normal child, like you and me. And I'm sure their mothers, their parents loved them, unless they were unwanted and abandoned. So what has happened to that society which is helping to create such yatim and miskeen? And when we come to the Quran, it is talking about yatim and miskeen. Right from beginning it says, Mimma razaqnahum yunfikun. And then it goes on to yatim and miskeen, and there are verses on that. And one of the signs of living in hell is that when these people who have landed up in hell, when they will be asked that what made you land up in hell, they will say that we ignored yatim and miskeen, but we used to talk a lot. And we used to waste a lot of time on useless things, aimless, meaningless. And when we look at the Quran, it says lahav and lab. And
Yeah.
lahav and lab means that who think that this life has no purpose, and they take it as sport and entertainment. So when we look at it, and then coming towards the Quran from the religious background, we should think for a moment that once we die and we are sitting there and we have nothing to do and we have a life, eternal life in front of us, and we don't have means to participate in that life because we failed to bring out new life here in this world, then how much loss, what Quran says khasara or khusr, we will put on that. And for that, Quran has given us the latent potentials. Quran has given us all abilities to create empathy. And empathy means not only that I should create empathy for you and others, I should create empathy for myself as well. So these are the things which force us to think. And force means motivates us to think. And since we have, so my effort is, or our effort on this platform is that we have made significant progress in terms of understanding many aspects of the system of Deen. And then we have also seen verses which come under muhkamat. And previously, very frankly, I didn't look at them. I thought these are also metaphors. But if we look at them as metaphors, then forget about the Quran, let us go to sleep and enjoy the man-made system and being its beneficiaries. But the thing is that there are changes taking place in the world of today. I was just, before I came to this presentation, I looked at one of the presentation by a guy called Alex Craner. I think he's somewhere from Europe. And he says that we don't realize that in the man-made system, if we are on a fixed income, then essentially with every passing year, we are becoming poorer and poorer because our money is losing value due to inflation. And of course, and that is riba as well, isn't it? The value depreciates. That is a gross injustice that the pension, for example, I'm getting at the beginning of this year will be 5 or 10% lower value it will hold next year. And not even being aware of it. You know, the worst part is that as a human being, if somebody is exploiting me and I'm not aware of it, at least be aware of it that somebody is pickpocketing and carrying out my exploitation. And then the Quran gives us the method, the procedure, the recipe to get Allah's help. Otherwise, it means nothing. I've paid so much attention to this when Quran says, I'm with you wherever you are. What is the point of his being with me all the time and doing nothing about Gaza or about poverty, yatim and miskeen? So that means he's saying that once you start working on this path, which is called Sirat-e-Mustaqim, then the first stage is that you realize that whole of this cosmos have divine energy of Allah himself everywhere. So now you are clicking to that. So if your own frequency, which you acquire through Iman and Saleh deeds, is compatible with that, that is why it says, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ, that you bring your desires, wishes, and outlook in line with what is Quran is telling you, we will not leave you alone. Now, this is where your and my task, our members on this path, becomes very challenging because we have to commit to it and start making an effort to become mu'mineen and muttaqeen of that level at an individual level where we understand what Quran is telling us. It is literally telling us, don't be discouraged and disappointed by the system around you. You start working on this. The changes which will take place within you as well as within the group you form, and then the wider issues, you will see that you will be transforming, of course, at a progressive evolutionary pace initially, but the change will come. And then, while it is not affecting in our man-made living, will we still be beneficiary of the man-made system or victims of the man-made system, depends where we are. But at least now the hope will appear. That is why Quran says, call me between hope and fear. Fear means the consequences of following the wrong path. If we should never go to that side. And hope means that Allah's system, Allah's path will bring all those tayyib results which it promises. And obviously for that one has to make an effort. What happens to us is that we start looking at the Quran through the lens of man-made system, which is very physical. We think that if the physical signs don't appear quickly, we somehow are failing. While forgetting that we are going to die one day, and where will be that physical side of our life once we are dead? We are dead, we will disappear from this world. This world will mean nothing. The day my eyes close, that is the end of this chapter of my life. And if we are satisfied with the man-made system, then this Quran is not for us. The Quran is asking that you have to have Iman in the unseen by following the path of the Quran. And unseen means that whatever efforts you make at one point, its results will meet you up later in life. So this is the kind of thinking we have to have. And
Doctor,
yes,
no,
please.
that's correct. I agree to you.
Did I miss some side of your question, I think?
No, because it's not a question, it's actually...
Just a point before I forget about your common sense point. I agree with you that a lot of people, when they come to the Quran, because they come from a religious background, they have those kind of precepts in mind: speak truth, be kind to others, give their rights, look after your children. They simply cannot go beyond that of religious belief system. And that is why some people have said that all the universal values are the same in every religion. Quran is not a book of religion. It is a book of the system which is here to replace the man-made system. Sorry, now you go ahead, please.
That's correct. And that's the reason. Other day I was watching on one of the documentary, and it was in India, that the slum in Mumbai, the Derby. And the way they were showing that it's only a small burn or gandana, and on one side is the life expectancy is 25 years less than the other one. And that's a city they were introducing, is a city of billionaires. And there were not one or two, there are so many billionaires there. And still, that is the slums, which are the lowest of the lowest in the human world, is existing there. And it comes to your mind, and those people who become billionaires, they say we are the most intelligent people and most using the common sense and most successful people. But they actually misses the whole point. And to be honest, that Derby or Gaza, it does not make any difference. In Gaza, they are being killed at the same point where the bomb falls, and in other slums, the people suffer and then they die without achieving anything. And those people who actually living in a life of luxury, they also eventually have to die. But after death, where do they go? They just vanish. And that vanishment, the understanding that the life does not end, it's a life after life. We're living a life where there's another life, and that concept is non-existent with them. So that's one aspect. But the other thing is, see, that ethical values which the Quran is giving, that are the permanent values we are talking about. How come that can be introduced See that ethical value, we talk about riba. Riba is one aspect of the whole thing. But the permanent values are the part of our whole life right from the beginning. It comes from the lap of the mother, that what is right and what is wrong from the very, very early childhood, how that is intended or indented into the child so that when they come up, become a toddler or even a young adult, those values, when they are exposed through the social media nowadays or through their own interaction with the society, those values and the written permanent values, that how we can come up. That's another issue within this. I would like you to comment on it.
No, I agree. The thing is that the Quran presents a holistic view of life, which takes into account the physical as well as the cognitive aspect. And it also recognizes that these things will not come overnight. That is why Quran has various phases noted in the Quran, and by using our rational side, we can figure out where the world is, and then are the society is, and from there we can take it forward. But it should form part of our education and training. As you said about mother, for example, if mothers are trained, educated and trained before they become mothers, and of course fathers as well, about the permanent values, then obviously they can bring up their children far better than those who are not aware of it. And at present, if we share the example of the man-made system, hardly any parents are given this kind of education. I believe in Japan, they provide some help to budding parents who are planning to bring up a family. But generally, even in the Muslim world, we have seen that there is absolutely no education and training, and which is terrible, because then we promote ignorance from parents to children and then onwards. And we have seen that Quran puts so much emphasis on knowing the purpose of life. And unless we are clear about the purpose of human existence, that is what is my own worth, biological worth, and then the non-biological, that is Quranic worth. The moment we acquire that understanding in the light of the Quranic worth, we feel highly important in the book of Allah. And then, like Quran has said about the Messenger of Allah, that he is on khulq azim. And khulq not only means ethical side of the life, but khulq also means that he meets the requirements of the purpose of creation by Allah. So Quran is asking us to raise the level of our eminence to that level. And that is why, if you remember, there is a verse by Allama Iqbal, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. I'll just translate into English. That raise the level of your eminence and loftiness to such a high level that Allah will ask you that what do you want, and then fulfills it. And this is actually given in the Quran, where Quran says that raise the level of your own self-development, or become mu'min and a muttaqi, that level where things start to happen in the outer world once you desire it. And obviously it is about Jamaat-e-Mu'mineen, that once they come together, then it starts happening. In fact, Quran also gives an example of the messenger Yusuf, that in the case of one man raising his eminence level to such a high level that things started to fall in place and the power came towards him. These are placed within our reach, and that is what I claim to have understood. Let me put it very frankly. I've said it before as well, that let us give it a try, and it's worth trying. At least when we leave this life, we will be fully satisfied that, oh Allah, I did my best. And with that assurance in our heart, we'll leave this life. And it is placed within our reach, because the moment we start working on this, the change which comes within us becomes an evidence before us that what I was and what I am and what I'm going to become, let's say in 5 years, 10 years time. So this is something which we have discussed before as well. Now, connected with that, there is a question, before coming to Brother Iftikhar, there is a question by one of our new members, Arij, and she has said that what is self-development, and related to that, that sometimes our relations, for example, even parents, etc., also influence us. Because we have gone through self-development before as well. When we talk about self-development, it essentially means in simple language that all of us have a strong sense of identity and our own inner personality. For example, under the religious domain, we have a certain personality. What is the manifestation of that personality? That we hold on to some of the religious beliefs, we do some practices, and at the same time, economically, we earn a living, we go out, do a job, get some education, respect our parents, take care of our children. So this is what defines us. So that is the state of ourself. We also hold certain belief about Allah. And the religious belief is normally a man-made belief in which we do not see Allah as a model. Rather, we see Allah as someone who can forgive us, who can take us to Jannat or Jahannam. And Jannat and Jahannam is not based on our deeds, but on His goodwill and on His mercy. The moment we come to the Quran, this self changes through study, education, by interacting with others, and by coming to terms with our own creation. And some of the changes which take place is that we get rid of all those beliefs which we had from the religious side, and we come to the pure Quran. And we say that through our own intellectual understanding, we come to the Quran that this is the book which is not the product of human mind. Human beings don't think like the Quran. For example, human beings do not want to help others. They want to accumulate wealth. And when they help others, they do not help others to help others, but they are helping others to get some salvation for themselves, to get some swab for themselves. They do it out of that basic human compassion. There is no hereafter in that. Similarly, human beings, when we come to the Quran, we see life, the death, not an end in itself. We see death as passing from one stage to another and as a deadline to do maximum solid deeds before we leave this life. When we come to the Quran, we acquire empathy and sympathy towards yatim and miskeen, and we start looking at them as equal human beings. And you'll be surprised that I have discussed with some of the religious people, and they don't think that we are equal as human beings. For example, I was talking to one of the families, and they said that when I mentioned about equality, and the lady said that don't tell me that my children are equal to some poor children in Pakistan. I said, yes, they are exactly the same children. It's a fact. And they don't believe it. And this is a problem with the human being. That is why the Israelis, when they are killing Gaza children, they don't consider them as human beings like themselves. When Trump orders firing missiles on some innocent guys in Sudan or somewhere, they don't see them as human beings. They are just ants and insects which are occupying the land. The Quran gives us that value. That is why Quran says if somebody has killed one human being, which was the killing not bil haq, they have destroyed as if the whole life. And it is a whole life. Just imagine that if we take away the life of a child who has the potential, and we know he or she has the potential to become a mu'min, even if half-hearted mu'min which we have become, if they have lost that chance of becoming that half-hearted mu'min, and the pleasure associated with becoming a mu'min, we can, even at this stage, can gauge it. We can feel it. It is palpable. That satisfaction, the freedom which we understand that this system can be established, which will be totally free from fear and huzn. And we can project the unity of our hearts a bit and then put a value on that, what it means from biological to non-biological. And these are the, for example, if we all enjoy seeing the scenery outside. And when we look at that scenery, have we ever thought that who has put that potential within us to appreciate that scenery which we are looking at? Who has given us that ability to enjoy that greenery and water and sunshine and everything? We just look at it and say, oh, this is beautiful, I'm on that holidays. The meals which we have, even under the man-made system, and the taste who has given us, the company in which we sit and talk and enjoy with our families and others. Some of these things we have to bring out our best. And when that brings out the best among us, and that is the purpose of this platform, and realize that how much potentials are within us, then we have acquired essentially a new self, a new life.
Brother Lionel, how are you? I have some New Yorkers here, which we will speak to a little later. Ji, welcome, Jazai.
Iftakhar bhai, yes, please go ahead. I'll come back to this, what I was talking from Arij's question, and I'll ask her if she wants to.
I have a young Hamad here. I believe he wants to have a chat. Ji, Hamad, go ahead. Speak a little loud.
Yes. Hiya.
Yes.
You're a transplant.
That's right. These are my grandchildren, my niece's children. They're from New York. Brother Lionel is in New York as well.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes, like a 30 minutes drive, not too far.
Is this your first time listening to the platform discussion?
This is my first time. I don't really have much knowledge to make like a decision or anything. But yeah, it was a thought. It was very, interesting. It's a thought-provoking conversation. I just need to understand it more so I can have like a better understanding. And other than that, yeah, it's nice. I like to see.
We're in the same boat. We need more understanding. So the whole thing is, when you come to these discussions, you'll pick up a little, and you'll continue with that, and then it'll accumulate so that you have a better appreciation for Deen, but also the function of Tolu Islam and focusing us in that way.
Yes, Hamad, you want to ask something? You're welcome.
We have any questions, but maybe I can start with a simple question. Like, what do you mean by a man-made system? Like, do you mean by like the government? Is it like what exactly is a man-made system?
Okay. Now that's a good question, and it is the man-made system means that any system in which man is a ruler or human laws are applicable. The Quran gives us certain value system which is permanent. It says that the values which are given in the Quran will remain the same for the first man who was living in a cave and the last man who will be highly developed and might be sitting on Mars. And so that means it is injustice. According to the Quran, it is injustice that if the laws keep changing. For example, in today's world, the laws in New York or in America are different from the laws in the UK and in Pakistan. So, for example, you as a human being, if you're traveling from America to UK, to Europe, to Pakistan, to China, you will be subjected to different laws. And which means it is an injustice against you as a human being. You are not supposed to be subjected to different laws. So what Quran says is that if you have man-made laws, then you are essentially a slave of the laws of man-made system. And Quran does not give any right to any human being to subjugate another equal human being to his own laws. So the Quran says, and this is a very difficult point to come to grips with, and it has given me a lot of sleepless nights, that Allah created human being and made human beings so powerful. For example, if you look at the tiger and a lion is one of the very powerful animals, but it has very limited capacity because it doesn't have intellect. It has instincts. So it can only probably eat 1 or 2 deer at one time. But look at the man. He doesn't eat any human beings. He just totally destroys them. He's got now weapons which can destroy the whole earth, everyone on this planet. And there is no control on that intellect unless he willingly, through his own choice, brings that intellect within the folds of the Quran. So the Quran is telling all those who have come to the Quran to come together and create a system which should replace man-made system or at least counter the negativities of the man-made system. Do you get my point?
Yeah, I understand.
So you and me are presently, even if we are the beneficiaries of this system, of the man-made system, which is creating poverty everywhere in the world and is exploiting. You can see it. There is a pedophilia everywhere. There are so many crimes and there is so much going on in the world. And Quran says, if you are unhappy with the man-made laws, that is the slavery of the man-made laws, then you should come to the Quran and seek my help. That is Allah's help, because Allah works through you and me. So what we are saying on this platform, or what Tolu Islam is saying, is that this replacement of this system is possible if we use the Quranic value system and its procedure. And despite Allah not being visible, He will help us. That is why Quran says, have iman in the unseen. Unseen, we all do a lot of things unseen. For example, we get into an aeroplane and it is unseen whether we will reach in New York safe or not. But we know that according to the laws and according to the safety of the man-made system, we will definitely reach there. We all know we are going to die one day, despite we don't want to die. So who has kept that instinct within us, a self-preservation which says, I don't want to die? So the Quran says, yes, you don't want to die because we know you don't want to die because we have kept that desire over there. Here we give you a procedure, you will never die. You will only taste death and move on to the next life. But it is your choice. Do you want to live beyond your physical death? Yes, follow the Quran. Not, then follow the religion. Follow anyone else, it doesn't matter. Follow man-made system. You will have no life, zero life after death. And then where is the evidence? It says very easy, because you are asking the question at cognitive level, at a thought level. And your thoughts will come to know, because we think that these thoughts are for nothing. These thoughts are the real individual within us. You and me are what our thoughts are. And now there is a lot of literature written on that as well, because I simply cannot do anything unless I first think about it. And when I think deliberately about something with the consequences of that, then I can make a decision. And man-made system works on relative values which keep changing, which change from one land to another. In fact, those change from person to person as well. Permanent values are those which do not change with time. They are immutable laws. And we have gone through a lot of them on this platform. And Quran says, do not exploit other human beings, because if you exploit other human beings, you are actually exploiting your own self, because that human being is equal like yourself. So when you do wrong to others, that wrong is against your own self. The other might forgive you, but who is going to forgive you from your own self? And everything you do is you are accountable for that, because whatever I do, it impacts myself. For example, this discussion which I am having with you, it is impacting yourself and myself. For many years down the line, when I'll be gone, probably I'll be dead, and you will still remember I attended that platform and there was a guy called Ijaz, and this is what he was telling me in the light of the Quran. Isn't it? And this will become part of yourself. And when you will rise up, looking at the longer aspect of it, when you will rise up after death, you will exactly know You will not remember the date. You will not remember the time, but you will know someone had told me about this. Now the next question will be, what did you do with that? Did you come to the Quran, which is free, and learnt about it? Or you just, come on, it is nothing to do with me. I don't want it. And both have different impacts. And the Quran calls it scales, qadar. You know, everything, there is nothing happening in human life in the world which is at random or which is probabilities or which is fluke. Everything follows laws. When human beings follow Allah's laws, they get the results which are associated with those laws. When human beings do not follow Allah's laws, then they get what is associated with not following Allah's laws. So in today's world, the man-made system is against the Quran. That is why we are facing all these anomalies, these injustices, these imbalances across the world. So this is how we should look at it. Now we go to Brother Muhammad Ali. Where is he?
Yeah.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. With the Judge Bhai's permission, I'd just like to say something about this presentation, how important it is and what to keep in mind. Judge Bhai, ijazat hai?
No praising, please.
No, it's no praising. I'm just
Yes,
requesting the people present and all the people in future, in time, who will come across this. It is absolutely clear in these lectures on Riba. Go through them again and again and again until you understand fully. Your intellect actually accepts it. Riba is a core issue that has to be tackled psychologically, and without that tackling, Islamic economical system cannot come into existence. That's what all these lectures were about, that it affects your psyche. Unless that changes and riba is rejected with our every person in Deen Islam rejected, then this Islam system, economical Islamic system, will come into existence. And the most other point that Ijaz Bhai has concluded this presentation on is Quran and Tolu Islam. For future people and all the people who are already present at this level who think that we are not progressing, it is not our mission to get power immediately. It is our ultimate goal, yes, but under the laws of Allah said to us, our actual mission is, actually one of Parvez Saab's lecture I was listening to the other day, even he mentioned that those people, that when Nabis used to come, it was their responsibility to pass on the message of the Quran to humanity. After Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that system has finished. No more Nabis, no more messages will come. This message has been preserved in the Quran. Now that responsibility of passing on the message of the Quran lies on the shoulders of Ummah. Whether the Ummah is doing this or not, but Tolu Islam is definitely dedicated to this mission. We have to pass on the message to as many people as we can. And as Ijaz Bhai said, passing on the message means not only giving the Quran's message, but actually training, Talim o Tarbiyat. And this is what Ijaz Bhai has been doing. So our mission is to create people who can create a system of Islam, not get into power in any which way we can. We will, when we are ready, we will get power, but we have to make ourselves ready for that. So please go over these lectures again and again until we 100% understand, and it's absolutely vital. People who think we need to achieve this and that, no, we need to achieve only one thing at the moment: create a Jamaat who is ready to create a government. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I will just add to it. Before creating the Jamaat is fine. It is coming together of all of us. For example, on this platform, whenever we are, we make an announcement and we come together. It is like that Surah Juma, that you are called to that. But the issue is, which is within the reach of every one of us. And I'm glad Brother Ali has said that. The issue is that, have I understood the Quran from Iman's point of view, number one. Iman means that have I rejected the man-made system 100%? There is no iota of doubt anywhere lurking that maybe this system should continue because I drive a nice car and I've got some money in my pocket and I can go on holidays and I can help some poor here and there and I can help through Islam whenever I feel like and then move on. We have to think beyond that. I have to create that self within me which becomes 100% eligible for receiving the help of Allah, which means 100% companionship of Allah. And if there is a gap in that 100%, and I look at it and I say, oh, 70% is fine, then essentially I'm not bringing out my best, and Allah is a witness to that. That is why Quran says again and again, He knows the secrets of the hearts. He knows. He comes between my thoughts and myself. And then I should look at it that I'm going to die one day, sooner or later. I'm 75, so I've given myself, for example, I admit here 85, let's say 10 years. Why 10 years? Because there is quite a lot of work which I have to finish before I die. And
Wonderful.
I waste a lot of time as well. Let me admit, I confess in front of every one of you that I waste a lot of time as well. Some I waste because of my physical disability, because I can't sit very long on the chair. Another aspect is that human mind becomes tired. If I look at the television and entertainment, my mind doesn't get tired. Anything lahv and lab doesn't tire me. But when I think of Allah, it does tire me. Because it is meant to tire. We are talking of an infinite being who has given us that brain. When it works on the right lines, it is consuming its energies. And when it consumes its energies, it thinks. And when it thinks, it becomes tired. So all of us, why I'm saying that? I'm saying that let us think very carefully that do I want to get Allah's help or not? If I'm fully dissatisfied with the man-made system, then I must present my services to Allah. Doesn't matter whether on this platform somebody else joins me or not. I say, like Ibrahim, Messenger Ibrahim said that he was an ummah in himself. And this is a beautiful verse in chapter 16. We had gone through it. And remember, we should remember he was a human being like you and me, exactly born same way. So this is up to us. And this is my invitation to all of our members, that let us make this effort before we leave this life and then see whether we get Allah's help or not. If we don't get it, obviously we didn't come up to that standard yet. But at least we will leave a legacy for others, for our children, for other friends, and those who will follow us, who will, if they get a chance earlier than us, they can then think about it and dedicate their life to this, and then rise to that level because of what is happening in the world. We should always keep in mind, and that motivates me as well, that if we do not do this, then that yatim and miskeen will be created by this system and will keep suffering. Those children suffering because of pedophilia in the world will keep suffering. People will die, and they are dying at this time when I am talking to you. And this is what I had told Brother Iftikhar when he came here to Glasgow. And I'm going to have another sitting with him, because what I see at times among our members is that they have risen to a fairly high standard of understanding, but they haven't committed to this aim of becoming companion with Allah to that level which Quran is putting before us. And I claim that I have understood that. Whether I meet that standard or not, I have understood it. I have understood it 100%. Let me commit to all of you. Because these verses, when I have gone through them and put my heart and soul into it, I understood what Allah is trying to tell me as His creation, that look, this book is for you. You do your best and then I will do my best. In fact, he's waiting for us to do it. So this is the aim of this platform. If we are committed to spend some time over here, then we should go back and rest of our week or couple of weeks, whatever time of respite we get, we should keep thinking, I'm not coming back to this life. Have I done enough of thinking at this stage to come to terms with the significance of my life? And can I go a step higher? Can I go a bit higher so that I enter the next life at a far higher plane than I'm going to if I go on the same pace? If I waste my time like this, if I don't extend any help to Tulu Islam, if I don't find out what is going on in the world. So this is the desire which we should have within us while we are striving hard to survive within the man-made system. Those
100%.
comforts of man-made system should create a bit of discomfort within us that these are not available to my brothers and sisters who are born yatim and miskeen and who are created yatim and miskeen by the man-made system. With that, I think I've consumed all my energy for today. Brother Lionel, are you all okay? Brother Lionel is very quiet.
Just a moment. I was writing in chat, but I guess I can tell you.
Okay. Let me go back to Andre and anyone else if wants to say something, please feel free to say. If you wanted to say something.
I think Brother Lionel is about to. Please go ahead, Brother Lionel.
I was considering the question, what is the self we're talking about? And of course, the self is who we develop from the being we are as humans. And the whole thing is that if we look out from ourselves, of course, we see the world that we live in today with our families, our friends, our neighbors, and then what we're told about Allah and the hereafter. And if we consider especially Allah and the hereafter, then we have to have some sort of understanding not only of ourselves, but why we need to continually study from the Quran and to discern the meaning of deen in this life. And if you believe in God and the hereafter, then you really do want to develop the self that actually gets us there, because it's just there while we're here at the moment. And we're here to work on that so that the hereafter is the promise that we've been given by Allah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the end of that is that we have invested a lot of our time on this effort on this platform, and we are individually as well in our own time doing a lot of good, a lot of thinking, a lot of investment. And if the signs have appeared of some unity, some affection in our hearts above the biological level of our families, then we have made some progress. And if we are still sitting within those biological limits, then I'm afraid we'll have to do more effort. So I would like everyone to please think about these things and grow out of those biological affinities of having useless conversations and useless meetings and useless. I'm not saying that we totally cut off. Brother Zan sent me a message that he's going to the marriage of one of his some nephew or a cousin or somewhere. So that is fine, but we should keep in mind the futility of our actions if we fail to grasp the higher purpose of life, and keep in mind that there is a lot of suffering in the world, and we hold the key to alleviate mankind from that suffering. And let us give it a try. And with that happy note, let us say goodbye, and I'll hope to see you next Sunday.